Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
back in the house, baby. So Miami's in the book. You say a third of the season is in the books right now.
I actually think it's 2/7. I've talked about this before, right? Or 2/6.
Yep.
Like I think of like the Australian season, the Pacific and Australian season as one part. Part two being this part that we just ended. Part three being the European clay that's coming up. Part four being the grass, which is obviously short. Part five being the U.S. Open, and then part six being everything afterwards. So I guess a third, 2 out of 6. And then my part seven is the off season. We obviously haven't gotten through the off season yet, but I don't know if that counts or not.
Well, this is like a good, really kind of breaking point of the season because now it's really like clay really starts now, right? Like that's the clay.
Oh yeah, this is all clay now. Like we had the golden swing, but like a lot of guys don't do it. You have hardcore tournaments for the hardcore guys. Like,
right.
Now we're getting to a point where this is going to be true clay time.
True clay time. So it's very interesting. Miami was a fun tournament. We left off where at the end of the second round, I think, right? And we previewed the third round matches.
Yes,
That where
I believe so. Let me see where I think. Well, let me see. I was looking at this earlier today because I was trying to figure out. Definitely the end of the second round. Definitely, I think we got through the third round, maybe.
Okay, all right. So let's recap like what we had round of 16 onwards. I think that's a good good place to kind of like recap what we saw in Miami. Let's go to the spreadsheet here. All right. So all right, so let's talk round of 16. So there was Taylor Fritz. I guess we could start there. So he played Holger Rune in the round of 16, and then he beat him pretty easily there, and then he lost to Alcaraz in the quarterfinals. So would you like? I personally, I think he's clearly the 5th best player in the world right now, based on what we saw the first half. I think he's number 5 kind of by himself, right? After the top 4 of Djokovic, Medvedev, Sinner, and Alcaraz. But what do you think of like his prospects for the clay court season? What would you kind of, make of him going forward? Do you think he's going to be a factor?
On clay, I don't know so much. More excited about him, because he hasn't. I don't know if he's done it as well in clay in his career. He doesn't seem to be a clay court guy. He doesn't move as well as some of the other. Although he actually has pretty good foot speed. He just doesn't move like, I don't know, as fluidly. We've talked about it a lot with Taylor Fritz.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see where
I don't know. Like I'm gonna kind of go a little bit like with and against the grain because like I think he's I think he'll do okay, but this clay swing will bring a lot more guys in who are competitors, right? Whereas like on hardcourt we said there were really only 4 guys, and then Fritz was or 5 guys, and then Fritz was the 6th. The 5 being Tsitsipas, Djokovic, Alcaraz,
healthy Tsitsipas, but okay, healthy Tsitsipas,
right? Healthy Tsitsipas, yeah. I mean, all the guys healthy, right? Like if any of those guys are injured, they're not as good. It's just that Tsitsipas happened to be injured. But we had Fritz is definitely like in his own tier as 6th best in the world.
Yeah.
Given that, I don't know. Like I thought,
like who do you think will have a better clay court swing, Taylor Fritz or Tommy Paul? If you have to compare the 2 Americans. Like, do you think Tommy Paul's game is like suited better for the clay because he's a better athlete?
No, he doesn't hit like. Ironically, hitting big can actually be really helpful in the clay, especially at those elite levels. And I don't know if Tommy hits big enough to hit through clay.
Okay.
I'm trying to look and see. Like, I don't know. I guess like it's tough. Like, I don't know, because like the thing is, Fritz has actually done pretty well. like for how much we bash him, like he's done pretty well. I mean, he's in this tier of his own, and like I don't know, like him versus Rublev, him versus Rune on clay, him versus Khachanov, like those are the guys that I would have in his tier. But like,
yeah, like if so, he played Holger Rune 4th round of Miami, right? And he wrecked him, right? It was like 3-2.
Yeah.
If they played that same match on clay, who do you give the edge to? Like to me, it's very, very interesting because like I think Rune is a slightly better clay court player, right? But I think Fritz is a better tennis player, right? And he's showing better form. So like to me, that would be an incredibly interesting matchup. Like I wonder what the books would put the price at, you know?
Something close, because I don't think that 3-2 is indicative of how that match is normally going to play out either. It's just that Rune can go all over the place. Plus, Fritz was in America, so he was in his home. Like Fritz has been in America the past 3 months too, right? So he's been in like in a place familiar to him.
That's fair.
So I probably drop him down a tier, and I put him with the other guys like in that tier. Like I would probably favor Nori over Fritz on clay.
I would agree with that.
So I think he probably only goes down 1 tier. He probably just falls into that tier below him with the other 5 or 6 guys we mentioned, Rune, Nori, Rublev probably goes in that tier.
I feel like there's a need to stay away from guys like Fritz or Paul, like initially in the clay court swing, and then kind of
I mean for the first week probably, or first couple matches,
probably and see how they adjust.
Although it's weird, like this Houston clay court tournament's kind of interesting because I think in the past, like some guys who you wouldn't expect to do well have actually done pretty well in Houston.
All right, we'll get into that, but I think Fritz is an interesting conversation. Let's talk a little bit about Alcaraz. He lost to Sinner in a crazy 3-set match. Personally, I don't take too much stock into it. Like I still think he's a top 2 favorite for like the clay court, like the French Open, for example, with Djokovic. The physical issues are a little bit concerning considering he cramped up in the 3rd set. I was actually shocked at how well Sinner kind of controlled some of those rallies and like put him under pressure. I don't know if that's going to translate to the clay. Alcaraz doesn't seem to be worried, so I think that was just purely cramping. I don't think there was any like real true injury or anything like that. So
I mean, so my takeaway from that match is I have a few takeaways from the match. Like Alcaraz is he's not invincible. Right,
yeah,
he looks pretty invincible. But actually, honestly, like he got hurt against Nori too. So like, there's I don't think he got hurt against Sinner as much as it was just like a cramping issue. But like, he is human.
Yeah.
And he did play. I don't know, like he usually plays well, but he's prone to mental errors. He can be a little erratic at times. Like he's human. So that's the first thing. I mean, when he's playing well, he's like his peak, I would say right now is by far the best peak in the game, and that includes Djokovic. Agree with that. Like he can get to a level that just nobody else can get to.
You think it's a higher peak than Djokovic's peak at this moment?
I think so. Yeah,
you're probably right.
Like Djokovic isn't really a guy who peaks, right? He does, but he's not a guy who like.
But he doesn't in his. But in Djokovic's peak, he doesn't miss.
Right, but like I think Alcaraz's peak could just hit through Djokovic.
Well, that's what Djokovic does in his peak. He doesn't miss, and then he shrinks the court. He makes you go closer to the lines because he's just not missing.
But in Alcaraz's peak, it doesn't matter. Like in Alcaraz's peak, I think he can hit by Djokovic in his peak. Again, like
even in that peak. That remains to be seen. I mean, that's something I really, really want to see. Like for any tennis fan, that's like, I mean, that's going to be absolutely insane tennis.
It would be, but I think peaking Alcaraz is better. But
how long can he maintain that peak?
Can he peak? The problem is like, can he peak for a match? I think Djokovic's base level might be better, and it's really hard to peak for a match. You can peak for like a set. You can peak for half a set. it's really hard to peak for a match.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen guys do it, right? Like Popperin against Fritz is probably the best example of a guy peaking for like 3 sets.
That's fair.
But like
Watnuki against Tiafoe.
Yeah, is another example of a guy just peaking, like playing out of his mind for an entire match.
Right.
But it's hard to do. Very few guys are able to pull it off. And even
do.
Watnuki dipped a little. He didn't dip, but he wasn't as good in the third set.
Yeah.
Right. So like, but it's the point is it's like, yeah, I don't know. But look, both guys are really damn good. But I guess that was my first takeaway. My second takeaway is like Sinner's in that top 5. Like even with the bad loss today to Medvedev, like Sinner's tennis is right there with those guys. His only problem left is physicality.
I would agree with that. I think the matchup in general, just versus Medvedev, he struggles with because he's not as comfortable at net.
I agree. It's not as good of a matchup as that. And I think that's what leads to the issues with physicality is because he can't
finish points, right? He has to
hit a lot. Well, he can finish points versus Medvedev off the ground, but it's a lot harder for him because he's trying to hit through a guy that's really hard to hit through.
Right.
Well, through or around, right? Through/around.
Yeah.
Whereas and actually, I actually thought Sinner played a decent tactical match. I actually thought he did at times take something off the ball. To try to
you were happy with that with Khachanov, right? That's why you thought he had success against Medvedev.
I think that's the strategy. I think the wrong strategy against Medvedev is to try to smash every ball through him.
I agree with that.
So any strategy that is that's the bad strategy. So yeah.
Fair. Yeah. I think Alcaraz is fine. I think he'll be okay for the clay. I actually think his run, even though Medvedev, had the best result in the Sunshine Double, I think Alcaraz was the most impressive just because I think he had way tougher draws than Medvedev did in both tournaments, to be honest.
Yeah, either him or Sinner. I think Medvedev was I don't think Medvedev was that impressive in terms of overall run, but
for a non-Djokovic Nadal, no Djokovic Nadal in these tournaments, Alcaraz probably had the toughest possible draws in both of these events.
This is what I'll say, right? About that, because there was no Djokovic, no Nadal, and really no Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas wasn't a factor, right?
Yeah, right.
There were 3 guys in each of these tournaments with a real chance to win. It was Sinner, Alcaraz, and Medvedev. And in both tournaments, Sinner happened to end up on Alcaraz's half.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't think it would have mattered. What? I guess Alcaraz had to play Fritz in the quarters too, so he got the.
He also had to play Tommy Paul in the round of 16, which is way.
That's a ridiculous draw. That's a ridiculous draw. You're right. That's a ridiculous draw. This tournament he got. Horrible draw.
And then even in Indian Wells, he had to play Griekspoor in the third round, who was playing good tennis. He had to play Felix in the round quarterfinal. I know Felix is not playing that well, but still you have to play a top 10 guy. Medvedev had to play Tiafoe in the semis for comparison.
Oh, I don't disagree that Medvedev got incredibly easy draws. My question is my question is less that and more did I lost my train of thought. I guess in a theoretical world where not in a theoretical, but he basically Alcaraz got really tough draws. You're right, really tough draws.
Really tough draws.
Really tough draws. Even he even had to play tougher guys in the other matches. You know what I mean? In the non-semis, besides just Sinner. So yeah, it's definitely, it was really unfair for him. Really, really rough.
It was, but you play the guys in front of you. Medvedev was the one that benefited from that, and he took advantage. Credit to him in a way. Medvedev, what a run in February and March. I think he's leading the ATP race right now.
Yeah, I mean, he got more points than anybody out of these tournaments. So you have to credit him somewhat, right? Like,
you do.
And it's amazing because he looked like complete. Like, he did not like look like he was playing. Like, he struggled in this tournament, man.
He did. He did.
He really, and he struggled in Indian Wells, but he somehow made a final and won the tournament. I mean,
I'm curious to see how he's going to play in the clay. For me, I think it's partly about him just embracing the surface. Like, I feel
I don't know if he'll do. Maybe that doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to like just embrace the surface. I don't know.
He did in Indian Wells, like he hated it, but he still found a way to get through. And then,
but he found a way to get through, and like because he didn't play like top guys, right? And he struggled against all those top guys. Like, I mean, Medvedev has a great fight. He's always going to fight. That's something he'll always do. But
right,
I don't know.
I mean, he's had some success on clay in the past. Like I think he made semis in Monte Carlo. He beat Djokovic one year. There, Monte Carlo is a weird tournament. Obviously, we'll do a pod on it, but it's a loaded draw. But and there are upsets there. But I don't know. It's hard for me to kind of see what he's going to do there. But I think for me, it's so mental with him. It's like, is he going to embrace the surface? That's kind of how I feel. Another guy kind of like Fritz and Paul, like I'm going to kind of stay away maybe the first match and then see how he does.
I'm staying away from almost all of these top guys the first couple matches. Like, it's just you're asking guys who are transitioning continents and surfaces, or at least surfaces, if not in several cases continents. So like I'm not
by stay away, I might mean fade. Like I might play plus the games on the opponent. Even if
I might. Like, it depends how good the spread looks,
Yeah.
I might.
Right. What do you think about like going back to Alcaraz? Like, I feel like we've both been playing him minus laying the games. Just
I love doing that because like he's a guy like I don't know. He beats down a lot of guys. Like, you gotta be careful with how much you do it.
Yeah.
But it's tough. Like, I'll lay 3 to 4 games with Alcaraz pretty easily. More than that, and I get really nervous because, like, we talked about this earlier today. Like, these guys aren't trying to cover spreads.
Yep. Right. They're trying to win tennis matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
we got it wrong with Paul. I did -5 against Paul. Got it wrong.
I didn't feel bad about that though, because Paul had to work his ass off to get 4 and 4 and to cover 4, and I had -4.5.
Yeah,
even money. Like, I don't think that was a bad bet.
It wasn't a bad bet. I agree with that.
I actually think it was a rather good bet. Like, okay, I lost the flip, and he missed a whole bunch of breakpoint opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I don't feel bad about that at all.
We got the Fritz one -3.5, right?
Yeah.
It's just tough. And then like we got the Magnus one or the Lajovic one, right? Like,
yeah,
it was 11-6. So I think this, match point 9. Actually, I listened to their pod and they talked about this, and they said one of the best bets with Alcaraz was a first set under, and that was very interesting to me because like he went 6-love against Magnus as well as in the second round, right?
It does seem like he comes out on fire
against Lajovic. Yeah, he does.
It seems like against everybody he comes out on fire, right? Like, and then he does kind of lose it. I think because his game is so physical. Like, I think he does actually wear down.
But I think the opponent, it's not necessarily Alcaraz coming out on fire. It's more the opponent is not used to that kind of pace. Like Fritz actually
I don't know, man. Like, if
Fritz actually came out and said that like even the top 3 don't play with that kind of pace. Like it's so hard to keep up with his physicality and just like the pace he plays with. Right.
I hear that. But I guess my counter to that would be that like when you watch matches, he just comes out and plays ridiculously the first 3 to 4 games. And like a lot of times the opponent will play ridiculously as well. Like the level will be amazing, and then the level will drop.
Yeah, it will drop. It's
And I
very
think it's
hard to keep
because
it up.
like both guys wear down a little bit and get a little more tired, and like it's not necessarily a bad thing for Alcaraz to play that way
Hmm.
because like he wears down the opponent too. But um it does seem that like I don't know, that's just my take on watching it, is that like he's so, but it supports that idea, I think. Like,
So do you like that for the idea of playing first set unders
I
with
mean,
Alcaraz?
I don't know, man. Like, looking at it, right? If you go through like
I feel like
six
a lot of
seven
these
against
first set unders
Sinner,
on clay are going to be like 8.5, which is
well,
like,
a that, but b like, so I'm looking at this, right? Like, if you look at these tournaments, so 6-7 against Sinner, 6-4 against Fritz, 6-4 against Paul, Bagel to Lajovic, Bagel to Bagnes, right? If you go back to last tournament, Indian Wells gave up 3 to Kokkinakis, 6 to Griekspoor in the round of 32, 6-2 to Draper in the round of 8 in the round of 16. So like, I don't know, man. Like, but then if you go back to the other parts of the place, it was when he wasn't playing as well. Like, a lot of guys had tough first sets with him, right? Like Fognini took a first set
that's
off him.
true.
So
That is true.
I actually don't know. Like, the data doesn't seem to particularly bear that out one way or the other.
Good point.
Like, maybe when he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't even like say when he's way overmatching a guy, because like Matthias Alves went 4-4 against him, and like I guess that's transition, and that's not even like a transition to clay. I don't know. I think that's I probably won't be taking that line.
I mean, I actually think that a slow hard court like an Indian Wells is actually the best surface for an Alcaraz.
Oh, I agree with you on that. I was just
I
saying,
don't think
like,
clay is the best for him.
I was just saying, looking at this point, right? I can't really like analyze this point based on 4 matches. And I
Yeah.
hate even going back to last year to look at Alcaraz, because I think he's a different, like, he's improved so much year over year.
Mhm.
So I don't really like, I hear the take. It makes logical sense, but like, there's
Yeah,
either
the
not
stats,
enough data, or
the
the data
results don't
doesn't really
really
seem to
back it
agree
up.
with it.
Yeah, it's just those two
What?
matches against Bagnes and Lajovic. He just like came out absolutely on fire. Even against Fritz, like
And
I mean,
and those are
he
both
beat
clay
him out
court
on 2
guys.
breaks. Like, yeah, yeah. I
And he
mean,
came out against Fritz on fire, but like Fritz was able to fight back.
fight back and yeah, hold 4 times, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see Alcaraz on the clay. I think it's going to be amazing. Like, it's. But yeah, yeah. How about so go like let's transition a little bit to Karen Khachanov.
Yeah, I wanted to talk some Khachanov, man. Like,
Yeah.
he looked, I mean, look, man, great run for him, right? A semis. Like, I mean, we didn't award a BD Bulldog, but we'll award one tomorrow night, but he's in the running.
He is. I
Um,
mean, this is actually his first Masters 1000, I think, semifinal for like 3 years.
I was gonna say, yeah, he definitely has a Masters 1000 title. I
He
can't remember
does.
when.
He does in Paris, yeah, in 2018. But like
Yeah, but it's his first run, his first deep run in a while.
deep
So
run in a while in a match.
yeah,
Actually, I think the 3 out of 5 sets favors Khachanov just because he never wears down physically. Like he's a physical beast, right? Like
he is.
he could last forever. But he also had an easy draw, and like we were all over the Khachanov money line against Tsitsipas at plus 110. I think we hit that wicket early, which was good because I think that went all the way to what minus 140.
Yeah, it moved pretty far.
So that was a good one. I also hit the Khachanov minus 1.5 sets, which was great at plus 205.
Yep, I hit the same thing as you did.
Yeah.
Happy times.
So
I completely whiffed on Cerundolo, though. Not that I thought Cerundolo was a better player, but I thought he had more of a chance than what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But Cerundolo is just so tough to bet, man.
He is tough to bet.
I just bet him to go 3. Like, I think the answer with him is just to bet. But like, yeah, it's amazing. Like, yeah. Like, I think the answer with him is just to bet him to go 3 sets, because he does try. But like, you can't count him to win.
I know. Khachanov,
he's moved into the 3rd tier in my mind. So we tiered, right? And really, I'm going to call it tier 2 for the clay season. In my mind, he's in that 2nd tier for the clay season.
I would agree with you. I think he's very solid. He never gives in physically. You can count on him to show up every time. I think he's just one-dimensional. I think that's his biggest problem.
Well, he can't play the net. That's his biggest problem.
Can't play.
It's really his only, and his serve isn't that good for a guy who's huge.
I know his serve isn't that good,
and his net game is terrible for a guy his size.
Yeah,
like it's almost inexcusable for a guy his size. Like that should be his place.
I mean, you were saying during the Medvedev match, like if he could hit a simple volley in the court, like
he would have killed Medvedev. But he can't like. Yeah. I mean, but it's really, really stunning. Like he can't even make like the simplest of volleys.
Yeah. And I was all over Medvedev. You actually got that match right in the semis, Medvedev Khachanov. I just thought that, like, we got burned by that matchup in Adelaide. We were like, Medvedev is not playing that well. Khachanov is like had a decent match against Draper. He's going to come in and like he'll be able to cover 3.5, 4 pretty easily. So we were both on the Khachanov side, and then Medvedev just whooped him because of the movement edge. And I was thinking the same thing because like Khachanov can't finish points at net, right? Like, and I feel like
Medvedev just played. It wasn't Khachanov. It was Khachanov played a little smarter tactically, but it was purely Medvedev just not playing well. Like he looked. I mean, it's amazing. He looked terrible, terrible in the last 2 tournaments, and he was just scraping his way by like weak competition, and then like second tier competition, just scraping by. And then he comes out against
Sinner.
In first 4 games, he looks like gangbusters. I actually thought after that he didn't look as good after the first 4 games. I thought his level kind of dropped. But Sinner just went in the tank physically. But yeah, I mean, yeah. But going back to Khachanov, he just can't play the net, and doesn't like. And his serve is like, it's not bad, but it ought to be a heck of a lot better, man. For a guy like he ought to be like up leading the ace count for a guy of that size.
I know. Well, that's the reason why when he plays top 10 guys, he struggles so much. Because
how does he win points?
I know. Even against like a subpar, like really like a 50-40, like a 30 to 40% Tsitsipas, like he struggled in that first set. Like he could have easily lost that first set.
Because how does he win points?
I know.
Like against guys who don't miss, how does he win points? He doesn't have a way.
Really troubling. Yeah, it makes it very troubling to bet him against, like when he's an underdog. Like I really have trouble hitting him unless like
he's hard to hit. Like he's hard to hit. Like, and I think yeah, it's tough. Like I said, like I guess we got a little lucky
with good upside.
What?
When against guys with like good upside who like have talent, I usually bet them plus 1.5 sets, even if they're not as steady as Khachanov, like because if they catch fire, he has no answer to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just I don't know, something like I like him. I like the way he competes. I think he's a good guy. I like there's not a lot I dislike about Khachanov. It's just he's one-dimensional,
Yeah.
Like,
2-dimensional. He's a good forehand and good backhand. Really good backhand.
Fair. Good backhand, yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's Khachanov, but yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he's in that like second tier of guys on the clay. So like if Khachanov played Fritz on clay, who would you back there?
I think Khachanov's game should translate better to clay, no?
I agree with you, but like I think Fritz is a way better ball striker and like can
on the forehand, yeah. On the backhand is pretty close. I mean, Khachanov's backhand is really pure. So is Fritz's. It's probably pretty close on the backhand side. Fritz probably owns the forehand, and then like
I'm curious to see what like the bookies would put. Like where would the odds be? Like that's
like somewhere between minus 150 and minus 200. I would think like
for Fritz.
I would think like he's definitely like just in terms of pure like player, he's definitely the better pure player, and it's not that close.
Right, but in terms of movement on the clay, I think Khachanov is better, right? Physically also. Well, Fritz doesn't really break down physically.
He did against Tommy Paul.
That's a good point.
I I mean, I would trust Khachanov's physicality more. I would trust his movement more on the
So you would
play,
hit
but
that.
He's not a great mover. It
No.
would be like physicality.
So
And
Khachanov plus 150 against Fritz. Would you hit it on a clay court?
I think so. But I wouldn't at plus 100, I don't think.
As Fritz as being a top 5 player, I don't think it shouldn't be plus 100.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I'm interested how much the books will account for the surface change.
Oh, they will. They will.
They will, but how much? That's my question. Like when these top guys start meeting on a clay court, like we've seen it on a hard court since January or since, like September of last year. Like how much are they going to adjust the odds based on the surface?
It depends on the guy, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like that's why I don't really know what to expect. And I feel like there's a lot of value on the board going forward.
All right.
So who else do we want to talk about in Miami?
I mean, honestly, like in terms of crazy matches, man, how about that VDZ Rusevori match? Just in terms of, I think we both bet that, and just in terms of like a heartburn match. And for me, I had it -2, so I ended up in a push. But what a brutal, it takes years off your life and you didn't get anything for it.
That's true because I think VDZ started up, right? He was up a set in the break.
Yeah, and then Rusevori came back and went up and won the second set, breaking twice, and went up a break in the third. And then
I had Rusevori -2.5, I believe, and then he started because he broke to win the second set, so he started the third serving and he broke right away.
But then he got broken serving for the match.
I know.
Yeah, just a brutal match. It was just more funny.
Yeah, in terms of betting, that probably took a few years off my life.
Let's talk Chris Eubanks.
Yeah, let's talk some Chris Eubanks. I mean, he emptied my wallet this week. Let's just put it that way. He was not very good to me. The Mannarino match, I mean, I think we both lost massive money on that match, right?
Well, I just lost a bunch of parlays, which sucked because I had about 130 units worth of parlays that would have hit if Mannarino would have straight set at Eubanks, and alas, that didn't happen.
That's why you were so nervous. It's funny that there was a rain delay at 2-all in the tiebreak.
Oh, I know, and I was like, when will this goddamn thing end? Like this rain delay. Because I was like, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, it was. Especially because we're right in the middle of the tiebreak, so I was like, "Fuck!" What's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
And that was a long rain delay. It was like they started that back up again at 11 o'clock at night, which was ridiculous, by the way.
It's ridiculous. It was such a bad. It basically was a agreed. Basically, they were just being
a money grab. It was a money grab,
100%, because there wasn't 90 minutes of tennis being played during that night session, so they would have lost all those tickets. Basically.
Yeah.
So that's why they did it. But
yeah, because and they even had an off day coming up, so they didn't need to get those matches played.
They did not. Yeah.
They could have just
yeah. But I mean, Eubanks played really well. I don't think Mannarino did too much wrong in that match.
No, Eubanks. I mean, did you see the one shot he hit when Mannarino drilled a flat ball at his feet and Eubanks just
half volley on the line
for a winner? It was insane.
It's crazy. And then I thought he played pretty well against Medvedev too.
Yeah, no, I thought he played great all week. And good for him, man. For a kid who's had to grind, and now he'll be in the top 100. Really cool to see. You just hope, what sucks for him is now he's got to go to clay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so shitty for him.
It is, but yeah, good for him. I mean, I hit the Medvedev 6.5 and 7.5. I just thought that was the end of the road for Eubanks. And I thought if the ball came back and played, Medvedev would just school him, but that didn't happen. So that was a little bit disappointing. Yeah. Anything else you want to add for Miami? You said you had a pretty decent week betting wise, besides that Mannarino loss. Overall, you had a decent week.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I had a good week. I mean, outside of this today, losing 15 to, or not, actually, I only lost 12 units on Sinner today. But outside of that, no, I had a really good week in terms of bets. We talked about, I mean, I just happened to hit a lot of that stuff. I hit Cerundolo in 3 sets over Sonego, so I made a bunch of units there.
Yep.
Just overall, I hit a lot of stuff, but like, yeah, I mean, I think we talked about
that was a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about most of the key guys. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess with Eubanks on the clay is a non-factor, right?
Yeah.
Like it's nice that he played well, but on the clay he's a non-factor. Yeah,
I agree.
So
yeah, I feel like there were a lot of close calls this week. I thought I had a decent week too. I didn't really calculate my exact units, like how much I was up. The Rusevori one was a tough loss. Garin Tsitsipas, that was probably one of my tougher losses of the week this week.
Yeah, it sucked, man. I was down. I ended up down 6 units on my single bets, but that was just because of today being so bad.
Yeah.
So I was doing fine up until today, and then just got hammered. Yeah. Just on props, man. Like I'm doing great on single bets. Just props are killing me. So that'll be another episode, but I gotta figure something out there.
Yeah, I mean, we've had different strategies with like the 1 unit, like from.
Yeah, and I think I used to do that. That might be a solution. There's a bunch of different things I gotta look at when it comes to props. Like I just gotta, I don't know, I gotta kind of go back and do some. The good news is there probably won't be any props for the next like month until Monte Carlo. So
Right.
So I've got a little time. I think so. When is Monte Carlo? It's not next week, is it?
I mean, this week is Marrakech, Houston, and Estoril.
Oh, and Monte Carlo's right away?
Right away, yep.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Comes up quick, baby.
But I don't know how many props will be up for Monte Carlo, because it's kind of a Masters, but it's not as much. Like, the players love it because it's in Monte Carlo, but like...
I mean, it also depends what book you use. Like, if you use, like, Bet365, they have break props and ace props and stuff. Like, Bovada typically only puts it up for big matches, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They might for Masters 1000 semis for Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
There are only 2 matches in a day, maybe. I don't know. So that remains to be seen. But yeah, overall, these were fun tournaments. I enjoyed them.
I guess, Manny. So maybe quickly, like, so now separating off of Miami a little bit, like, so I guess, like, what are some of your takeaways just from this, like, from like Indian Wells, Miami, and like the preceding events? Even thinking about like the European hardcourt tournaments and such. Like, any big takeaways from that? Like, my biggest takeaway is probably the 2 guys who played today, Sinner and Medvedev. Like, there were real questions about both those guys. I would say even on Medvedev after Australia, after losing to Korda, there were questions. And then for Sinner, there were questions. I mean, yeah, he got to the what, quarters or semis versus Tsitsipas, but then he, in Australia, but then he wasn't able to complete the comeback. So like, it was still like he can't beat top 10 guys. He lost 2 sets to Fuchsovitz in Australia. So like, but I thought like Sinner was really
my takeaway on Sinner is that his top level is exceptional, but how much can he replicate that? And how often can he physically?
My question is, can he physically get through a tournament and play?
Yeah,
because the problem is, right? Even he had a really nice run, but he won 1 title, and that was a tournament where he didn't have to play until the quarterfinals.
Montpellier, right?
Right. And that was a fast French hard court. He didn't have to play any super physical guys, like, you know. So
I mean, I had a futures on Sinner at 11-1 to win Miami. I don't regret that, but like, he also had a bunch of days off. Like, he was the one beneficiary of playing Rusevori on Tuesday, and then played the semis on. No, he played Wednesday and had a day off before the Alcaraz match, whereas Alcaraz had to come back the next day. So I think like without those days off, like in Monte Carlo, when he has to play, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to win the tournament, like that's going to be tough. Like I'm not going to bet futures on him there.
It's also interesting, right? So if you look at like his runs, right, like since Australia,
yeah.
So Montpellier's the tournament he won. He beat Sonego, Fields, Cressy. Decent players, all of them, but like on a fast hard court, not the most physical guys.
Mm-hmm. Who did he play?
Then he goes to Rotterdam.
Mm-hmm.
He beats Banzai, Tsitsipas, Wawrinka, Greek score, and then loses to Medvedev. What I think is interesting there is, like, as the tournament went on, like the Greek score match was close. So, like, is there something that he started to wear down a little bit? Like, even like because he had to play like Tsitsipas, who's a tough match. Then Wawrinka, who like even in his older age, he still is a pretty physical guy to play that. He still gets a lot of spin, especially on that backhand. Like, so is it another wear down issue where after playing 4 or 5 matches, like the level dropped a little bit? Didn't seem to happen so much in Indian Wells. But like also Indian Wells, like, Manarino was a close match. Gasquet was somewhat close, although Gasquet's probably just been playing his way into the tournament. But Manarino was kind of like, I don't know, man. It feels like he.
See, I think the physicality issues only appear also when he's playing top level players, right? Like top 10 players. Regardless if he's tired or not, he still beats up on guys outside the top 30. It doesn't matter how he's really feeling. Right?
Well, most of those guys I don't think really push him either. Right? I mean, not just in terms of like winning points, but in terms of like making him move, making him hit bigger, making him hit multiple big shots in a point, right? Like that's the crazy thing. Like you look at a Medvedev, right, or an Alcaraz, like that's the thing that these guys do is they make you hit a lot of big balls in one point to win a point. Mm-hmm. All these top guys now. Like if you just look at the top guys on the tour right now, right? Like Djokovic, Alcaraz, Medvedev, that's what they do.
You have to hit like 4 or 5 winners just to win a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like obviously my feelings on Sinner have gone up. And I think his top level might be one of the highest in the game, right? Just based on his pure ball striking. But the fact that he can't maintain that for that long and come back and replicate that over a 2-week tournament or, a long 1 week where he has to play a lot of good guys, that's still a massive question mark.
Yep.
So
and then my second takeaway is that like Medvedev is good. Like he's like on hard court, he's is good. And he might be the best player in the world on fast hard. He might be better than Alcaraz on a fast hard court.
That remains to be seen. I want to see Medvedev play Alcaraz.
Well, but okay, so maybe even the matchup's bad. I'm just saying, like overall, as a fast hard court tennis player, like, because I think he matches up better with anyone else on a fast hard court.
Probably. I mean, he beat Djokovic pretty easily in Dubai.
Well, that was Dubai, right? That was and that was the only tournament Djokovic played in this like part of the season. And like Djokovic struggled with Machak, so like, and Machak played out of his mind. Agreed. Not saying he didn't, but Djokovic didn't look. Like I don't know. But either way, like Medvedev, he might be. I mean, might be the best fast. Like on fast hard, he's just incredible. His defense is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. We saw some shots today against Sinner. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But
just a lot of really good gets, and really good defense.
Yeah. And Medvedev, even if he's not playing that well, he today proved that he can kind of turn it on, right, when he needs to.
Yeah, for sure. So,
because against guys like Eubanks, Hallis, even Khachanov, he can coast. He doesn't even have to go full intensity. He's just so much better than them, right? So maybe that was part of it. Yeah. All right.
What are your thoughts on Norrie, man? Not the best run for Norrie.
No, that was such a bad loss to Who did he lose to? Barrere?
You know what though? I guess he had a really good golden swing. So I just
Well,
think a
Klaus
lot of defense with
Klaus
golden
Bugard
swing.
was totally spot on there, where he said that he was totally mentally gassed from that golden swing, and it seems to have
Yeah.
taken a lot out of him. Where I guess that shows the difference between him and Alcaraz, right? Because Alcaraz played the same number of matches in the golden swing and actually came out of it injured and was perfectly fine here. But Nori, it just like took so much out of him. And he had so many tough matches against like low ranked guys like Varias and
I know on the clay.
Costa.
So I mean, so you're right. Probably not really very good for him. Now that we say it,
But does that translate to clay? Like, is he, is he going to be able to use that clay form and kind of translate into the European clay swing? Like, how is he really a good clay quarter or not? Like, what's his best surface?
I think he's the closest thing we have to an all quarter. But but I think it's the closest thing we have to a clay quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But or I guess he's not the closest thing we have to clay, but like he's the closest thing we have to an all quarter, not a clay quarter. Probably Clay's his best, I would think, but I don't know, man.
Or you could say Grass is his best. He made Wimbledon semis last year.
Yeah, but his game doesn't really play that well on grass, or it shouldn't at least. He's probably basically an all quarter,
Yeah.
But just a disappointing run.
Yeah.
Tommy Paul's looked really good, man.
He did.
That's another guy to talk about. Tommy Paul, man, looks good.
He does look good.
I think he's moved up in my mind to that second tier of guys with like Rublev and Khachanov and FAA.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if he found a way to convert one of those 6 match points against FAA in Indian Wells, I might put him ahead of those guys, to be honest.
I mean, his losses were Alcaraz
and FAA
and De Minaur. FAA where he choked, and De Minaur where he gassed out because he choked against.
And I think he would have won that match if he wasn't totally gassed.
Yeah, but he gassed. Yeah, but he gassed himself out against Fritz by choking.
Right.
So, and he lost to Alba in Delray Beach.
Yeah, that was due to the celebrity game.
Right. So you have to make so it's a very easy guy to bet. You should make sure there's no other events that might interfere with his schedule.
Yeah, I like Tommy Paul, man. I think his game might actually translate pretty well to the clay.
It should. Like he moves really well. I just don't know if he hits big enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is he comfortable sliding and like with the clay court movement? Like, how has he done in the clay?
I would think. I mean, honestly, like we haven't seen clay for like these guys in so long.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And I think he's playing this week. He's playing in Houston. And he's actually the favorite to win the event, which I would never hit. But he's, I think, a plus 330 to win Houston. So
when will Kyrgios play?
I have no idea, man. I have no clue. Yeah.
Quarter's still out too. Nobody's talked about that. What is Quarter? Have you heard anything on Quarter?
Good question. Let me look it up. That wrist injury, I guess, ended up being worse at the Australian.
Yeah, because he hasn't played since then. At least I haven't seen him.
So hard to get tennis news, man.
Well, it's an individual sport, right? So why would these guys release any news?
Right. I did hear that Nadal is not really like enjoying practicing, and like
I heard that also.
It's a little bit concerning.
Yeah. Also really concerned with ARV's slide. He's now out of the top 50. He's also been going by Albert Ramos in some matches instead of Vinolas anymore, which is really disappointing.
As long as you can always bet the over 12.5 with Ramos Vinolas, I could care less. with Ramos.
That's true. That's true. Hey, you know what? I mean, something interesting we talk about, right? Like, so, like, what do we think about the Americans going to Clay? It's going to be awful, right? Because this is how it always is, with the exception of maybe Tommy Paul.
Well, that's why I talked a little bit about Fritz going into Clay. Like, I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
No.
But like these other guys, it's going to be terrible. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, if it's not
Like,
worth it,
made a finals in Estoril last year, right? And he was Tiafoe. Like, he's a good athlete. He doesn't really slide, but he did well in Estoril last year. Like,
true.
It's going to be so hard to bet these American guys on the clay. Like, I'm so interested to see what they do.
Yeah, let's just see what they do. I'm just not excited to bet them.
Yeah, I'm not really getting much
quarter news.
I think he wanted to play Estoril, but he can't. So yeah, because he's a guy that's comfortable on clay, right? He's had some decent results. Corda.
Yeah, his game should translate well. His game should translate well to the clay, to the debt.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's get into some of these draws.
Yeah. We got 3 tournaments this week, baby.
Yeah. Let's go.
First up, what are we doing first?
I think Marrakech is the weakest draw, so let's start there.
Marrakech is one of my favorite tournaments, though. It always has a terrible draw. Like, I'm pretty sure it'd be a pretty easy tournament to fix. If you're looking to fix a tournament, like.
Yeah.
I also love the wild cards always in the Marrakech tournament. Because it's always like these Moroccan guys who just have like
they have barely played
pretty good players.
Challenge. They haven't played any challengers though.
No, but it's like always these Moroccan guys who like they're actually decent players, but like they just have no resources.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So it's like kind of sad.
It is. So the fact that Dan Evans is the number 2 seed, that just shows how weak the draw is.
But not necessarily, right? Like Dan Evans is like, he's actually like a pretty.
Yeah, but he's been
still in the top 30.
He's been so bad this year.
Oh no, I'm not saying that Evans is good or is a bettable player. I'm saying he's been like.
I actually think if he played La Russie, I would probably play him La Russie plus the games against Dan Evans, because Dan Evans went like 3 sets against Mejia, right, in Davis Cup.
Mejia, yeah. I mean, Dan Evans has been terrible. I mean, this is not a pro Dan Evans cast. I'm just saying that I don't think that shows the draw is weak because he is top 30. And like they don't seed based on if they think the guy's gonna win the tournament. They seed based off the pure ATP rankings, and like his ATP ranking is still in the top 30 somehow.
Okay. All right. Let's start at the top of the draw. So I think that
this is also an amazing tournament to look at the history. So like guys who have won this tournament in the past 10 years, Andujar is a 3-time champion of this tournament.
Goffin is the defending champion.
But yeah. I just love how Andujar is a 3-time title winner. Benoit Paire won it back in 19.
Horich 2017. Delbonis.
Delbonis. I didn't even realize Delbonis ever
he has an ATP title.
He played outside South America, let alone one tournament. So to be fair, he actually did get in the top 30 for a while. Delbonis.
Martin Klizan.
He was a decent clay quarterback in the day.
He was a decent guy. All right, so let's go through this draw. This is pretty weak. So we got Musetti as the 1 seed. Ooh. I actually think he might be in trouble against a Jan-Lennard Struff in this round of 16 if he has to play.
But is Struff any good on clay either?
I bet him against Gaston -2.5.
Speaking of guys who need something, man, like Musetti, it's been rough, man. But I think he still might be hurt. That's my theory. And he's just playing through it to cash in. It would be incredibly dumb, but there's nothing else that explains. Just he's been terrible.
He's been really bad. Yeah. You think he's just trying to cash in appearance fees?
Maybe.
Possible. Yeah. I mean, I think he's in trouble against whoever he plays there, Gaston or Struff. I think he's more in trouble against Struff because Struff can put more pressure on him.
But isn't Gaston a pretty good clay player?
He is, but he's so underpowered and he just like hits drop shots. That's all he does. You know,
True.
So like he had decent runs at the French, but I think the French crowd really helps him there. And then
I just don't love Struff because I will not be betting Struff because he's coming from he played all the hardcore tournaments. This is his first match on clay in 3 months.
I actually think, I think he prefers clay. He likes like the slow bounce where he has more time to set up his
I'm still not going to bet. I will almost never bet a guy who's playing their first match on a surface in 3 months.
Yeah, it's probably smart. I just think he's so Gaston is so underpowered there. Like the power difference in that matchup is so massive.
What is the line there? Is it really only 2.5?
2.5, yeah. That's why
I'm probably going to play Gaston on the money line. Gaston's been playing, Gaston's been playing in South America for the past 3 months. So I think I'm a zero on that match. That's a pure stay away to me.
Pure stay away?
Yeah, I actually think it I think it might be. I mean, I think the right play is probably Gaston, but I don't know, man. It's a continent transition for one guy and a surface transition and a continent transition for the other guy. My gut says you go Gaston, but it's just like and it just looks like a messy match to me. Like first round of Marrakech, I'd probably just stay away.
You bet either do you think either guy beats Musetti? I like Struff's chances.
I gotta hear how Gaston plays. Or Struff. I mean, maybe. I don't hate either guy against Musetti.
Mm-hmm. Both guys will be underdogs. I think Gaston will be like a 4 game underdog, and Struff will probably be like a 2.5 game underdog.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. Then the next little section, Pissarro and Karatsev. So Karatsev for me is a hard fade. I'm fading him hard. I'm betting for Pissarro there. Pissarro is a plus 114 against
that
Karatsev.
Feels amazing without even thinking about it, but I'm gonna stay away from this. This is another continent transition, man. Another guy who hasn't Pissarro actually played all the hard stuff, and so did Karatsev.
Well, Karatsev played in San Remo in a challenger against Kopajans and got he won the first at 7-5 and just totally went away in the second and third, 2 and 3.
But see, actually to me that's a good that's not terrible because at least he's playing a challenger.
Yeah, but his form is so bad and he doesn't fight. He goes away so quickly.
Yeah, to me it's another pure stay away.
I'm
just not going to play.
I love the value on Pissarro here.
I hear you. I'm just not going to play a guy who I'm not playing a guy who hasn't been on clay in 3 months and is making and not 3 months, 6 months. I mean, I can't even it's just another I don't like these surface transitions. And Pissarro didn't play anything between Indian Wells and this tournament. So you got a guy coming off a month, traveling continents.
True. That's true.
That to me is but I have no interest in playing Karatsev either.
That's a good point.
That's a pure there could not be a more pure stay away to me than that match. It's the book is probably kind of close to correct, and it's just you're just giving up the juice. Maybe you take Pissarro because it's plus money and it's a coin flip, but that's the only thing I can even possibly justify.
Okay, all right. I watched Karatsev's match against Kopajans in that San Remo Challenger, and it was so bad, so bad. I watched that third set, and I was actually thinking of live betting Karatsev because, he's a big name against playing Kopajans and he was just missing everything. It was so bad. So Karatsev just I'm taking the plus money there, but I see your point. you're probably making the smart move. But Moeller and Gasquet. That's actually an interesting match.
Moeller actually is playing better.
He is.
But Gasquet is not playing bad either. Moeller did play the Sanremo Challenger. Gasquet is coming off a transition.
Gasquet is minus 145. Moeller plus 120.
See, that doesn't feel that great though, right?
Probably hit Gasquet on the money line there.
No way. Never.
No?
There's a transition. There a continent transition and a court transition. No interest. I mean, I'm gonna be saying that's about basically every match. I'm just gonna lay off most of these matches.
Are you gonna start playing them in the second round once you watch the first round?
Yeah.
Just to see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then going on to the next that match is on Tuesday, so
actually like Gasquet struggled. I might hit Mueller. I mean, I don't know. Gasquet lost to Kovacevic in Phoenix. Like he's got some weird losses in the past year against like competition he should be able to beat.
Yeah.
He lost to Fields. Obviously, Fields is like a much more talented guy, and it's a completely different. Like they're not really related, but it's just like Gasquet can lose this match, man. But again, like it's so close to even money. The line's probably too close to actually hit it. But in terms of the draw, right? Like, because I think we're more talking draw than matches. Yeah, I don't know, man. This draw is just so weak.
It's weak. It's weak as hell. I mean, in the next section, you got Bodic against O'Connell, Kotov and Martinez, Varias, Bonsai, Cress. Yeah, that's that quarter.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about Varias here as a futures play? What is he on the outright?
That's a good question. Varias is like seventh favorite to win the title at 1,600.
I don't think I can hit that.
No,
I was hoping to be like 30.
Yeah, I actually think his draw is actually not that easy compared to other draws.
Really? Like Bonsai on clay? Khachanov or Pedro? Bodic or O'Connell on clay?
Bodic is not terrible on clay. But he's
Bodic has been terrible for
he's been
months
bad
on any
form,
surface now.
Yeah, he's been in bad form. I might bet him.
Zeddy then is the guy in the top half. Like, who in that top quarter scares you? Like, the more I look at it, maybe it's 16. Varias is the pick.
I have one futures play here, and I think you would agree with me once we go over the bottom half of the draw.
Adam Beer.
Just look at the names on the bottom half of the draw. Who do you think is my futures pick?
Oh, Greek score.
No, not on clay.
Yari?
Yeah, Yari.
I don't know, man. Like, what is Yari's the third favorite here, right? Isn't he like 7-1 or something? Right?
Yeah, 7-1. I'm hitting that.
He hasn't played since that Santiago run. So like, I don't know, man. And I don't love the draw. Like, isn't Elliot Benchetreat French? How did he become Moroccan? Seriously, like, what happened there? Did Morocco buy his citizenship?
Maybe.
Like, he's not Moroccan, is he? I could have sworn he grew up.
Elliot.
Oh, he formerly represented France because he was born in France.
Oh, yeah, he was born in Nice.
What the?
Wouldn't he get more wild cards if he stayed as a French citizen as opposed to changing to Morocco? Because this is the only tournament he's going to get a wild card into all year.
I guess. I mean, I guess so. Apparently, his dad's Moroccan, so maybe it has to do with that. And I guess he lives in Morocco. Could be a tax thing too. I have no idea. There's probably some money that changed hands there, whether or not it's being stated. My bet is they bought his citizenship.
Probably.
But
so okay, I don't know. This is
but like that's a decent. That's like a semi. So I mean, the rest of that quarter is terrible. But
actually,
like Evans actually could win a match.
Yari's toughest match might be against Munar in the second round.
I mean, Federico's sitting in that other quarter. RCB is like actually kind of a threat here.
I'm curious.
I think Griekspoor, like we've never seen Griekspoor play good on clay, but like why wouldn't his game play well on clay? He hits so big.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
Is Griekspoor second favorite?
Griekspoor, he is also 7-1 to win the title.
Who's the favorite?
Musetti at plus 325.
And who's second? Bodic?
Yep, plus 550. Munar is plus 1400. Evans is plus 1600. Varias is also plus 1600. Gasquet is plus 1600. Popperin and Corey are plus 1800. RCB is plus 1800 as well.
It's hilarious that like they won't put low odds on anybody because they know that like this is a coin flip tournament, honestly. What's weird about this though is there's so many non-hardcore, non-clay court guys playing this.
Yeah. Probably because they know that this is like the draw is going to be so weak that they're going to be able to get some points here.
Yeah, for real. Like this is where you go to get points. You're right.
Like RCB is minus 200 against Cressy. Is that the right line?
Well, who is?
RCB against Cressy.
Is minus 200?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cressy on clay. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, true. So Bonsai is playing Juan Pablo Patino Samundio. Have you ever heard of this guy?
Nope. Wait, who is?
Bonsai. No, wait. Oh, Juan Pablo. Okay, Juan Pablo Varias. I guess they. I'm sorry, Bovada. I think made a typo.
What did they call him?
Juan Pablo Patino Samundio.
Oh, maybe that's his actual name.
Maybe. I thought it was someone else or like some qualifier.
Carlos Garcia. Well, so actually on Bet Online, Carlos Alcaraz is listed as Carlos Garcia.
Carlos Garcia.
Yeah. So like you go in and you're like, all right, big final today, and you're like Garcia against Sinner. Like, who is this Garcia guy?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess this is such a weak draw. This has got to be the weakest 250. Holy shit.
What is Pedro at? Pedro sucks. What is Pedro at?
Plus 2,500. I think it's between Griekspoor and Yari. Those are the two guys I'm kind of targeting here.
I like Griekspoor, man. He's just so much better. Like his game should be decent on clay, and he's just so much better than anybody else in this draw. He also gets the winner of Mundir and a qualifier in the first round. I'm not even sure who it is. Are those up yet? Like, are those qualifiers placed yet? They should be. Otherwise, I wouldn't think they'd give you the option to bet on it.
I just refreshed the screen and they haven't.
On the ATP website?
Yeah. I thought they would by now, but I guess not. Oh, you know why? Because they still have some qualifiers tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. So they're not placed yet at all. You're right. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, who's in the qualifying? Who's in the qualifying here? Are any of those guys threats? Maybe.
Grenier, Kuzmanov.
That's not bad. Grenier, like these actually aren't terrible qualies.
Vavasori
isn't these terrible. Guys are real players.
Vavasori, Bonadio.
I mean, these guys could all win a round.
They could. Moreno del Oberon has been decent.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are all like real players, man.
Yeah.
Ironically, they get a decent qualifying draw for a terrible
main draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Greek sport, I think the only trouble match really is Korea in the quarter, right? Maybe RCB, I guess, and then a Munar or a Yari. And then the top half of the draw, you got Varias, Pedro, Bodic, Gasquet, Struff, and Musetti. Oh my God, man. I wonder what the odds are on the bottom, a guy on the bottom half of the draw to win the tournament. Plus 125.
That's the hit.
Because
that's the hit. You gotta use that. That's the hit.
I agree with that.
Like, how do you not hit that?
I'm putting
I just did hit it
on that baby.
What?
I'm putting 2 units on that baby.
Yeah. The other bet I love here is an unseeded guy to make the final. Because, like, which of these seeds are, like, do you really trust here? Especially in the top half.
Struff. Yeah, Struff.
No, I'm saying which of these seeds? Like, you trust Bodic? Like, I think Bodic I would trust the most. Like, he's like, but like he can barely beat Popperin.
I know.
Like,
the guys I actually trust the most are guys that are unseeded, like Varias, O'Connell.
Well, I don't trust O'Connell on a slow course.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Honestly, the guy I trust the most here is Varias in that top half. If you ask me, like, who do I trust is going to show up and play well, it's Varias. He's just like not that good, so he could lose any match.
So how about this bet? So the winning quarter in this match, in this tournament, third quarter is plus 350, fourth quarter is plus 300, if you want to narrow it down even more. Because, like, I think the top half is weaker. Right? So in the third quarter,
but I don't know. I think I'd rather just hit the bottom half at plus 125.
So basically on the bottom half, you got RCB, Korea, or Greek Sport as like potential title winners. Then you have Yari, and that's really it. Yari and Munar. You really trust Popperin and Evans?
No. Well, like the problem is like in that like
it's third
quarter
plus
I really like Greek Sport, man. The more I look at this, I think Greek Sport is the play.
And he's in the third quarter, and that's plus 350 if you pick a player in the third quarter to win the title.
Yeah, but if it's not, I mean, so because RCB or Corey are threats here?
Yeah.
They are. I mean, they 100%
They are. They are. I'm hitting that. Third quarter.
I like the bottom half better. I think
how about, yeah, no. Wild card to reach the final is 22-1.
No, because I mean,
yeah,
that's Benchitry, right? Then you basically are taking Benchitry.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a good idea.
No. All right, that does it for Marrakech. Enough.
What matches are tomorrow there? What main draw matches? We should talk about those.
Okay, we got Gaston and Struff, which we talked a little bit about. We got Munar and Betchikrit, Larousse and Popperin, and Karatsev Pissarro. We talked about that. I'm hitting Pissarro just at plus money. I'll probably stay away because it's of all the reasons you mentioned. I have Munar and Betchikrit under 20.5. I just think Munar is just gonna like. He's just so much more solid. No.
Yeah, I mean, Benchitry just sucks. Like, he's not good anymore.
No. It's actually under 19.5 at minus 125. I just think Munar.
What happened to him? I thought he was decent at one point, wasn't he? I guess he was never. He never was. For some reason I thought Benchitry used to be good, but I guess
no. He's always hovered around 400 in the world. Well, he was in the 200s for a while, but he never cracked past 200. So
I don't know why I thought he was good.
Yeah.
But that's clearly on me. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's a clay court where Munar likes it. It's
and he did play the Girona Challenger. He did beat Versina there. I mean, like, how big of a favorite is he here? He's got to be at least 5 games, right?
It's 5 games.
What is the sets? What is it if you lay 2
5
sets?
and a half. It's 5.5.
No, if you lay a set and a half, what is it?
Minus 220. If you lay six,
no.
if you lay 6, it's plus 110. You lay 6 games.
Laying 6 is so much.
Not on the clay court. Clay court is a little different. It's not a fast hard court. It's a clay court.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bencic not even competitive versus most guys in the top 100.
Exactly. And he's playing someone in the top 100 on their preferred surface.
He really should be looking more like a top 50. Like, I think that's the play. I think you swallow hard and lay the 5.5.
Lay 6.
Brutal.
Lay 6 at plus 1. Lay 6 at plus 110.
Wait, what is it? Minus 5.5? Minus 120?
Minus 125.
Yeah, you'd rather lay the 6.
I think that's a better play. I'm going to stick with the under, but like if you haven't hit it yet, I think that's...
What is the under?
19 and a half.
That's the given over under is 19 and a half. So you go over under 19, right? That might be a little more appetizing.
That's minus 105. That's how aggressive you want to go.
Yeah. It's probably the 6. I probably lay the 6. I think I agree with you.
Okay. You're gonna lay the 6?
Yeah.
On a clay court, it's not as bad as you think. Like on a fast hard court, 100%. I totally agree with you. On a clay court, if one guy's
you're gonna get breaks.
It's gonna be so hard for Bencic to win points if he's up overmatched.
Yeah, but he just sucks. There's no reason to think he like particularly wakes up for this tournament because like
Gaston and Struff. I'm hitting Struff there.
That's probably a stay away from me.
Okay.
I think the line's decently well set. I just have no interest in Struff coming off of this transition.
Okay, fair. I have Pissarro. We discussed that. Popyrin, Larusi. I mean, it's a 6.5 game spread. Plus 6.5 was appetizing to me. Is it appetizing to you? I didn't.
I gotta look at Popyrin. Like the question is, can Popyrin cover 6? Is Popyrin consistent enough to cover 6.5 against anybody?
Right. That's
like is he good enough to cover 6.5 against like a futures level player?
Right.
Maybe. I mean, he beat Emer 2-2. He beat Otto Vertinen 5-2.
On clay?
Zhang and Adelaide, that's at home, but it's a little different.
Yeah, but clay.
Let's see.
When was the last time he played a clay match?
You know what? Give me the kid plus the game, 6.5.
Also, home crowd that gives him a game, right?
Yeah, I'll take the kid plus the 6.5.
I'm hitting that too. The last clay court match that Popyrin has played was last year at the French.
Well, yeah, I mean, why would he play?
Right. And he lost first round to Fonini in straight sets.
Yeah.
He did win a challenger last year in Bordeaux on the clay.
And he beat Munar on the way, Taverner.
That's
Yeah, I mean, look, like, but even there, look how much. Look, he had to win every match, like in like brutal fashion.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're not asking if Popyrin can win the match. He's gonna win the match. It's the 6.5.
6.5. 6.5. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll play that.
Yeah, we'll play
I was thinking about it, and I was like, maybe not. And then, like, I think the fact that you're going for it, I'm gonna hit that too.
All right.
I'm interested in it. Yeah, and then there's some qualifiers, and that's about it tomorrow in Marrakech. So, all right, let's move on to Houston.
So my hits are. Let me just get my hits in. I'm gonna take
Larousse plus the games.
Yep. I just gotta find this dude. Take him plus the games.
Munar minus playing the games.
Munar and lay the 6. Like 6 games.
A lot of games. You're not playing Karatza Pissarro, right? And you're not playing Stone Struth.
I'm not playing Struth. Okay. Scroofy boy.
Stroofy boy.
Yep. All right, cool. So now what's next?
All right, Houston. Houston, baby.
All right, so we have a very, very exciting. I'm now looking at the history of these tournaments because it's actually kind of interesting. So champions in the past four of editions of this tournament: 22 Opelka, 19 Christian Garin, which makes sense. 17-18 Stevie Johnson won this event. Stevie Johnson's a 2-time champion here.
That's crazy.
The baby goat.
He's a hard fade right now. For me.
Is he?
For me,
sometimes you come to a place where you've had a history of success.
Is that something I say?
No, but you sound very esteemed when you say it.
I say it exactly in that intonation as well.
Exactly. But you're like rubbing your beard. Like, sometimes when a man goes to a place where he's been successful, he can draw out of that well. Will Stevie Johnson draw? Will he drink from the baths of glory? Houston.
No. Not here. Not this week.
All right, that's a pretty hard take there.
It is a hard take. Steve Johnson is a hard fade. No backhand. He's not even hitting the forehand that
well. He's
well.
Never had a backhand.
Yeah, but he's not even hitting the forehand well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at the draw. So we got, I think Tiafoe is the 1 seed.
Kind of surprised he's playing here.
Yeah. Are there any girls in Houston?
Not that you'd be interested in.
Right. So is he gonna?
Hey, you know what though? We got some popcorn first round tennis there. Stevie Johnson versus Tiafoe, 2nd round. Look out!
I already bet Bagnus minus 2.5 games. So Bagnus is gonna spoil the party. Yep. Yeah, I hit that hard. 2.5 minus 110. Just Bagnus is more used to a clay court, and I hate what I see from Steve Johnson recently. He's been god awful.
So bad.
He's been really bad.
I mean, he did beat Hernan Casanova in a 3rd set tiebreak.
Just look at these results. Like, it's terrible.
No, he's on a 6-match losing streak. He's lost 3 times to Nuno Borges in the past month, though. It's ridiculous. He has 3 losses to Borges in the past month. 2 losses to Kovacevic already this year. Like, how does he end up playing the same guys over and over?
Yeah, I know.
It's just hilarious.
It is.
But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, this is such a bad So does this tournament though? Does this clay feels like plays better for faster court players. I don't know. No, go back to my little court
Surface
speed.
sheet, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it won't be on here though because it's Houston.
It's a clay,
Well, let's
yeah.
see. Let's see. Oh, Houston. Interesting. It doesn't play like. Yeah, it plays pretty slow. It's one of the slow games. I mean, it's clay.
I'm actually surprised Tiafoe's not playing in Estoril because he made finals there last year and like the crowd loves him.
I'm more surprised he wouldn't like play there just to get over there for Monte Carlo.
That too.
I bet you Houston paid a lot of money for Mr.
Probably.
Tiafoe.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, we got Verdasco though. Is Verdasco a threat here?
No. That being said, I bet Kubler, I think -2.5 as well. No, I bet Kubler -1.5 sets against Verdasco.
Okay.
So, I'm surprised Verdasco didn't have to qualify like he did in Delray Beach.
He got a wild card.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Honestly, he gets so many wild cards just because of his name.
Yeah, I know.
He must be really well connected though within tennis. Like,
yeah. I also bet Zhang against Galan.
Oh, Verdasco is a former champion here. Sometimes when a man comes to a place where he's had previous success.
Sometimes when a man is playing terrible tennis, he's going to lose. Yeah, I don't think it holds true here for Verdasco or Steve Johnson. I mean, that quarter is pretty weak. Do you make Tiafoe the favorite there? I mean, it's a terrible quarter.
I mean, I think you have to, right? Like, it's a terrible quarter, like we just said.
I know.
I mean,
all right, let's go to the second quarter then. You got Isner against Kovacevic or Brouwer.
Is Isner the favorite in this quarter? I think he is actually. Isner's been, I think, pretty decent here too, if I'm not mistaken.
JJ Wolf and Jordan Thompson, Kudla, Kovacevic. There are no clay court guys here, so
yeah,
yes, I would say so. Isner is 8 plus 850 to win the title.
What about Kudla? Is Kudla a threat here in this quarter?
No.
I mean, then who else is besides Isner?
Thompson? If they have quarter odds, I'm betting Isner to win this quarter. It's not up on Bovada yet, but
yeah.
What a weak quarter, man.
I know, man.
So I have one futures play in this tournament. I'll give you a hint. It's on the bottom. It's on well, yeah. It's in the bottom half of the draw. So if you look at these names, who do you think I'm going with?
Etch.
100%. It's 100% Etch. You got it spot on. And you can get Etch at plus 1800 to win the title.
What is Tommy Paul to win the title?
Plus 325.
Jack Sock got a wild card?
Mm-hmm. I thought he's playing pickleball.
He was. He's probably better. He's probably a better fit for pickleball, to be honest.
Probably. But like, look at the bottom half of the draw. It's so much stronger.
It's actually decent. The bottom half is actually decent.
It's pretty good. Purcell is 24th in the race in ATP points because he's won he lost today to Virtanen, but he's won 23 straight challenger matches.
Yeah, but now we're going to clay.
Yeah, it's different. But I'm just
and Olmar is actually pretty. See, I don't like Etch here because this is actually a really tough draw.
It's tough, but I think he's like the best. Like you're getting him at 18-1 though. Like the value seems there. And like you look at the guys ahead of him, like, but I don't know. I don't like anyone else.
Tiafoe's the favorite, right?
No, Paul's the favorite at plus 325. Tiafoe is the second favorite plus 375. Nakashima's plus 750.
I
Garin
think the
plus
play is
850.
Tiafoe on short odds. He's only got to win 4 matches. The first is Facundo or Stevie Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's got either Galan, Zhang, Verdasco, or Kubler.
Then Isner.
That's fine. It's plus 375 for Tiafoe, right?
I don't trust that he's going to show up.
Yeah, I don't.
That's my problem. And probably a tournament with like not big crowds and like I don't know.
But I don't like anybody. I think I'm going to stay away here from I think I'm gonna lay off this completely from.
You like the bottom half to win the title at minus 135?
Yeah. What do you think about an unseeded finalist at minus 135? Me? I mean, no thanks.
No. I actually like the non-unseeded finalists at plus 105.
Really? That top half? You like Tiafoe, Kubler, Isner, or Vukic to make the or
Wolf?
Kubler, Isner, or Wolf?
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. I think I mean, if Tiafoe if half of Tiafoe shows up, he should make the final.
I'm not playing it. I prefer playing the Etch.
You're really high on Etch, man. I mean, I don't know.
I am high on Etch, but I just think he's like I would pick Paul above Etch, but like Etch is plus 1800. Paul is plus 325. There's a big difference there. Like I think
get it, but literally every
Etch,
match is going to be tough for him.
For Etch?
Yeah, and you're only getting 16. Like if you were getting like 25, I would take Etch, but every match is going to be tough for him. Like even Cerundolo is like he could win that match.
That's the bad Cerundolo.
No, I know, but like I mean he could beat Etch. I don't think he will, but he could. Like it's not like he's up against Jordan Thompson in the first round, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then like Altmaier is like a reasonably decent clay quarter, and like I don't know. But I get it. Like none of these guys are good. Oh, what about Garin? What is Garin at?
Plus 850.
That seems good, no?
I would rather play Etch at plus 1800.
You know what the play here is? What's the third quarter at? What is that quarter at? Because the seed's not good, but the unseeded guys are tough. That's a great quarter.
Plus 225.
That's the favored quarter?
Yeah, that's the favorite quarter to win.
They really don't trust any of these seeds.
The fourth quarter is plus 240 to win the title.
Because of Tommy Paul.
Right.
Because the rest of those guys, I mean,
Hanfman.
What is like Machak to win the title?
He's not even up there because he was a qualifier.
Ugh.
Hugo Deli and Christian Garin is actually a good first round match. I like the bottom half at minus 135. like we don't really know what Tommy Paul is going to show up, but like if it's a good Tommy Paul and he like
no, but there's a lot of other guys. I think that's my play here is just the bottom half.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm gonna hit. And that's it.
Okay.
All right.
I'm surprised you don't like the etch at 18-1. I'm surprised.
It's just a really tough draw, man. Like he could lose any of those matches.
Cerundolo, Altmaier, Nakashima, Green, or Delian.
He could lose any of those matches.
Yeah, he could. Okay, fair.
Like if he had Purcell in the first round, or if he had Emilio Gomez in the first round, I'd feel a lot better.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. And then tomorrow's matches, I'm playing Zhang over Galan, money line.
What is that at? What is that? What are the odds there?
I don't remember exactly. I know I hit it, but let me see. Minus 125. It's pretty much a pick 'em. It's a one. Zhang is a 1-game favorite.
I get it. Galan's been so awful.
Been bad. He's been bad. Go on. Kovacevic Brower, even though it's a clay court, I hit the over 21.5.
Just because it's Kovacevic?
Yeah. And like Brower is similar, right? Like big serve, not much else.
Yeah, goofy lefty game.
Right.
But Brower's played a lot of of matches have gone under that 20 recently. I don't know, man. Yeah, look at his abstract, his tennis abstract. And granted, like, yeah, I don't know, man. I think I just prefer the 3-set line if you play a 3-set line there.
Yeah, maybe.
But Brower's been so bad, man. How do you lose to Benoit Paire?
He has been bad.
I can get by on the Zhang money line. That's I think my only hit here.
Zhang money line, minus 125. Brower's even money, Kovacevic, but we don't know how Kovacevic plays on clay, right? Like
he hasn't played on clay in a while, I don't think.
Yeah. Woof. Since Pagoda of last year, where he lost 3-2 to Nick Hart. Ooh. Yeah, he's not a clay court guy.
What about how do we feel about Delian versus Garin? That's an interesting matchup.
You know what? Yeah, that's on Tuesday.
Oh, that's a Tuesday matchup?
Wait, maybe not. Yeah, it's a Tuesday match.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
weird. What do you think the line is there?
I saw it. I think Delian's a 2.5-game favorite.
Yeah, Garin is a 2-game favorite.
Oh, sorry, it's wrong. Yeah, Garin's a 2-game favorite. I mean that makes sense.
I actually like the 3-set line there. Plus 135.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe. Verdasco Kubler. Is that interesting at all?
I played Kubler minus 1.5 sets.
Just because Verdasco's so bad now?
Yeah. It's a fade. It's a hard fade on Verdasco.
I mean, there's nothing that suggests Verdasco can win this match. Except, when's the last time Kubler played on clay? Never. I don't know, man. I'm probably going to lay off that one.
Yeah, I think they're, like we talk about surfaces a lot, but like I think there's some level that translates. Like
There is.
how well are you hitting the ball? How well are you moving? Like there's still stuff that translates. I mean, he has
I
a
think my play for
place.
tomorrow is just Bagnus over Stevie, man. I think that's my only play here for tomorrow.
Play here.
Yeah.
Agnes over Stevie.
Yeah.
All right.
What about Bagnus and straights?
It's not a bad play, but I think Johnson does compete to some extent. Right? Like if
Yeah.
his forehand catches fire, maybe it's I would prefer to lay the games there. That's
I
just
don't
me.
even know, man. Oh. We've got like 2.5 games. Like, oh man. I think I prefer to lay the 7.5 and take my
Set and a
plus
half.
145. Yeah.
What are you getting there?
Plus 145.
Okay. Yeah, if
I
you're
think it,
getting that.
I think I like that over laying. Like what does laying 2.5 games get you? It's gonna be a lot of close sets because it's Stevie. And the over under on games is too high. It's 22.5. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
like
high.
the games over here, but that's too high.
Right.
I mean, Stevie's played a ton of 3-set matches.
It's true. I have Facundo -2.
I took Facundo and I laid a 7.5 at plus 145.
Yeah, I just laid the 2.5 games, but yeah, either play is good.
All righty. Does that wrap up Houston then for the
That
day?
wraps up Houston. Yep. So last
All
tournament.
right. So now we go to our final tournament.
That is
Estoril. Estoril's actually like a half decent clay court event for a 250. It's just so stupid that they put these three tournaments together the same week.
Yeah.
But wow, so Estoril
used to be later in the calendar.
Yeah, it did. It did. Because the previous champions here is actually a pretty good list. Baez, ARV, Tsitsipas, Sousa, Busta, Almagro, Gasquet.
That's pretty decent.
That's a pretty good list. Like those are like decent players.
And the names are better, I think.
Yeah, it's a better draw.
It's a better draw. I'll be there. I'll be in Portugal in May. Not for the tournament, obviously, but
disappointing, man. You got to get there for the tournament. What is the purpose in being at a tournament after the tournament is over?
Yeah, fair. It's family vacation. All right, so Casper Ruud is the number 1 seed. I actually think he could be in trouble against Guilo Zaperi, or he won't be in trouble against João Souza, but I think Zaperi, he might be in trouble. Zaperi has had some decent clay court results. He took Alcaraz to 3 sets in Hamburg last year.
Yeah.
I believe. He's been decent.
Yeah.
If you go back to
nice weather in Estoril.
No, that was in Umag. Took him 7-5, 4-6, 6-3 against Alcaraz in Umag. That's a good result. I mean, like beat Zapata there. And then recently he's played a lot of clay events. He played in Zadar, made the quarters there, and then in San Remo. So he's familiar with the clay right now. I think he beats João Souza, and then I think that
I don't know, man. Zhao's at home for this.
But Zhao's been so bad. It doesn't matter. Like he's just so defensive right now. Like you know?
Well, yeah, I agree.
Joao Souza, he's
he's been really bad. He's been really
plus
bad.
145, 147.
I think I like Zapiri there.
I like Sapiri, and I'm going to take him probably plus the games against Rude.
I might just take him on. I don't know. I'd be tempted to just take him on the money line against Rude.
That'll be interesting to see where that line is, but yeah. I think Rude is in danger there. And then I think
he's in serious danger there.
And I think he's in a tough half of the section of the draw because like he would probably have to play Baez.
This is a brutal section, yeah.
That's tough, really tough. Khachanov against Seng. I actually have Seng plus the games. It's 2.5 game spread.
Against Khachanov?
I don't trust Khachanov.
I don't trust Seng either. I think this is a pure stay away because both guys just
suck. Okay. Albot and Baez. I think that's like a 5 game spread.
Well, it should be at least that. I mean, but Albot, like, that's probably the right spread. I'll probably just stay away.
It's 5.5.
What's the set spread?
Question. Minus 1.5 sets is minus 185 for Baez. No.
Probably that's the play. He's just so much better. I just don't like games is just always tricky.
Minus 6 is plus 140.
Minus 6 games?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of appetizing. I don't know.
So yeah, I mean Radu Albot is not exactly a clay court player. He's underpowered there too. The movement edge is huge. Like,
yeah, but I don't know if I will disagree with you saying Radu Albot's underpowered. Like, it's your favorite word, but Baez is not overpowering anyone.
Yeah, but he hits a way bigger forehand. Like the movement edge is massive. Like
I'm not saying he's not a better player. I'm saying
how does Albot win points in that matchup? I'm gonna hit the minus 6. How does he win points?
He draws errors out of Baez. I don't know.
Okay. Next section, you got Bautista Agut against the winner of Nuno Borges and Quentin Hallis. I think RBA is in trouble there, actually.
How is Nuno on the clay?
It's a good question, but he's in good form.
Yeah, but I feel like his game would play more to hard court.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but he's also at home. Yeah, he's been mainly playing hard court. Although
he's been okay on clay. His play results aren't bad. I don't know.
Yeah, he's been all right. Qualified for the French Open on clay last year.
Yeah.
That says something.
What do you think about Offner there in this quarter?
Oh, against team?
Just his draw in general, I think Offner's got a great draw. Team first round. Well, RBA's the seed in the quarter. Shelton in the second round. Like, those guys don't scare me on clay. I mean, they do, but like Offner, you might be able to get ridiculous futures odds.
Let's see what his futures are.
Are they not up?
Yeah, because he's a qualifier.
First of the qualifiers.
Yeah. Borges is plus 2,200 to win the title.
I'm probably going to avoid that, and I will play. I don't know. Baez at 10-1 seems amazing here.
That's what I'm
That
playing.
seems like you're just stealing money.
That's my play.
That's my play too. I don't get how you could not take that. Like,
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, who's gonna beat him before the semis? Rude actually could. That's a bad matchup for Baez. Rude should beat him, but maybe Rude will play bad. And if not, there's nobody else that should beat him.
Rude is plus 250 to win the title. Like, has he done anything all year to?
No, I don't want Rude. I'm saying like, but I think matchup wise, Rude should beat Baez if they beat in the quarters. Yeah. But Rude might lose to Zeperi.
Right. Exactly. And I don't think Baez loses before the quarter. He doesn't have any trouble against Albot or.
I think the only guy actually that gives him trouble here is Rude.
In the entire draw?
The bottom half has a billion guys who are actually. The bottom half actually is really tough here.
We got Schwartzman against Cecchinato. I'm curious what you have to say about that match. Giannessi against Fonini. Van Asch, who just won a challenger, by the way, against Pedro Souza. And then you got ADF. And then on the bottom half, you got Kekmanovic and Nardi. Rodionov has been excellent in the challengers as well against Ramos. Zapata Morales against Roca, and then Hurkacz. So I actually think Hurkacz is in trouble there too if he plays Zapata.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a tournament where I might.
This is a tournament where you say take the unseeded finalist at plus 115.
That might be a hit.
Because there's so many. Like, why do the seeds need this tournament? And if you ask me, on the bottom half, all those seeds don't look great.
Schwartzman,
like, it really is Fokina on the bottom. There's like Kecmanovic and Schwartzman are non-factors. So it's ADF or Hubie on the bottom half.
When ADF has a Van Esch who's been really good recently.
ADF could just implode and lose the match for no reason. The problem is that quarter sucks.
I know.
Like actually the bottom, the fourth quarter is really tough. Like I think I really like the first. Oh man, but the first quarter is a massive favorite.
Like, I can't wait to see odds of like Rodionov against Kecmanovic if they play, and Zapata versus Hubie, and like Van Asch versus ADF. Like, there's so many dogs I like there. Like, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Like when Wednesday and Thursday come around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really excited to play those matches.
4 matches tomorrow. I don't know, man. Like I'm looking at the futures here. I like the unseeded finalists.
Okay.
Wildcard to reach the finalists plus 275. Who is that? Oh, Agut. Agut's here as a wild card.
Shelton.
RBA.
Shelton.
And Shelton. Both of those guys. That's why it's 275. But
yeah, RBA has been pretty bad. What about the guy in the fourth quarter to make the final?
Guy in the fourth quarter to make the final?
Plus 275.
No, that's gotta be guy in the fourth quarter to win, not make the final.
Oh yeah, winning quarter. Yeah.
The fourth quarter at 275.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think that's my hit.
I like that too.
I got that in the unseeded.
Because the third quarter is so weak. You just got ADF and Ash, Schwartzman and Fonini. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah. I get it. I like it. And then there are some interesting guys sitting out here at really long odds. Like Rodionov's out there at 125 to 1. Zeperi's out there at 40 to 1, if you like that.
I just think he's in such a tough section.
Like Nabi's out there at 28 to 1. But Nabi's coming off that injury.
Right.
I mean, what about Roca here, man?
250 to 1. No, because he has to play Hubie if he beats Zapata.
He's not gonna be Hubie. Yeah, you're right. He's not gonna be Hubie.
So yeah, he's not gonna. He has to win two matches against top 50 guys. No. I like those two bets. Fourth quarter to win the event and then unseeded finalist. I'm hitting those.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else here. Like,
and then Baez, obviously.
Fokina is interesting at 5.5 to 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's in that weak quarter. That's true. Yeah.
But the problem is that top half is so tough. I think the play here, my plays are what I said. Baez to win it at 10 to 1. The unseeded finalist in the fourth quarter. That's what I got.
Yeah, we have the same plays.
Yeah.
We have the same plays here.
All right, tomorrow's matches.
Khachanov saying you're staying away. I'm playing Sang plus the games.
You know, I'm thinking about this one. Sang plus the games might be the play here. Khachanov has been so bad.
He's been terrible. Would you just take Khachanov on the money line plus 135? Khachanov. He lost to Jesper de Jong. Guy ranked 273 in the world.
When did Khachanov lose to Kesper? Oh, I'm looking
last
at
week. Girona.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like Sang. Okay. What is the spread here?
2.5.
And it's 2.5 that who's the Sang's the favorite?
No, Sang's the underdog.
Ooh, I think I just like the Sang money line here.
Plus 135?
Yeah.
Okay. Zapari took him to 3 sets, but I think Zapari's a way better player on clay than Sang. That's actually a decent result, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hit Sang on the money line.
Alba Baez.
This has to be Baez all the way. We talked about this match already. This is the one that was 5.5 for Baez.
Mm-hmm.
At even money, though, I mean, does Baez beat down anyone, though? I feel like every match for him is tough because he can't serve.
I have Baez. I have that match under 20.5, so I still win if it's like 4-4.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
Man, Baez has a tough time even on clay with anybody, though. Every match with him is close. He gets tight.
Yeah.
I'm actually tempted to go the other way with this.
When go over?
And take Albot plus the games. And just hope he can like hold enough to keep it within 5.5. But I don't like it because there's a surface transition there. So yeah, I'm out on that.
Okay. Schwartzman.
Diego Sebastian Schwartzman.
Sebastian Schwartzman.
Against Marco Cecchinato. Cecchinato cost me money earlier this year because he was so bad.
So we always talk about us fading Schwartzman. I'm on the Schwartzman side here. Minus 105, plus 105, minus 1.5 sets for Schwartzman. How does Cecchinato win a set? Plus, I think Schwartzman's been a little better.
He's a little better, and Cecchinato so bad, but like
Cecchinato misses so much.
Actually be close to even.
I'm not like terribly confident, so I'm just putting one unit. I'm not going like nuts on it, but I think like I don't know. Cecchinato misses so much. Like
he does, but Schwartzman, yeah. I think this is a stay away.
Schwartzman is a 3.5 game favorite.
I know, and like the problem is like neither of these guys are good. Like I don't have any interest in either of these guys. Like
okay. Fair. And then Giannessi and Fonini.
This feels like a GNSE spot, man.
Plus 135. I was thinking about it, but like
But the
Fonini,
crowd is decent here, supposedly. Is this a night match?
it is. It's like the fourth match on.
So it probably is a night match. Fabs.
I was thinking about playing Giannessi, but then like I was kind of thinking about the same thing you were. Like Fonini can catch fire and just go nuts. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. But GNSE qualified? I don't know. Like,
Play.
I can only take GNSE at the plus money on the money line.
Krutik and Morozon.
Hey, those are real wins.
But he lost to Zaperi 1-1.
When did that happen?
Last week.
Yeah, but Fonini's won one of his last 9, and granted it's better competition, but he's making a transition surface or service transition.
And Giannessi he won Zadar.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like Giannessi, man.
Okay. I'm hitting it. Yeah, I like that win in Zadar. That's a good. That's he won a challenger on clay.
Yeah,
Recently, like that's a good sign.
I'm just going money line there.
I agree. All right, so that does it. So we got a lot of tournaments coming up. So
a lot of tennis, man. A lot of tennis.
Tennis. Clay court swing is underway.
Exciting times though. Gotta love it.
Yep. I can't wait for Monte Carlo. The draw is so loaded, man.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
It's gonna be
and
incredible.
I think both guys will probably actually stay in the draw because it is a Masters.
Yep. All right. Well, that does it for this pod. So we'll obviously continue posting our picks on Twitter. And thanks a lot, guys, for listening. Have a good night.
Yep. Until next time, guys. Keep living.
All right. Peace out.